Pillar to post and coast to coast, this is The Law.
Live audio wrestling.
I have to ask you, Kenny, working in the New Japan constantly and working the strong style, how are you holding up health-wise? How's the body holding up?
Surprisingly well. I mean, I had surgery, 2 knee surgeries over 10 years ago. So when I overuse my legs on like a long tour, they will start to get sore. They will start to swell up, and I'll lose a lot of mobility, and it's tough for me to move around the way I want to. But I mean, that's just wear and tear, and that's from a real old injury that I had a long time ago when I first got into the business. But aside from that, I've been pretty lucky, and it's just cuts, like, you know, little tiny cuts in your mouth, you know what I mean? Like just annoying stuff, bumps and bruises here and there. I never really go outside of my comfort zone. I am not a tough guy, really. I don't like to feel pain. I definitely don't like for other people to feel pain because of what I've done. So even if something seems dangerous or crazy or whatever, I can assure you I'm never actually stepping out of my comfort zone. I know exactly where my limits are. And I've just been lucky that I've actually been naturally athletic and I can control my body well in certain situations, but I'm never putting myself in a scenario where risk of injury is high.
Yeah. And you bring up a great point, because I just think now of what's happened with Shibata, and that he went and did that big headbutt in that match, and now it looks like his career might be over just because of one spot.
Yeah, we all really have to step back and take a look at where are our limits as performers, as athletes, as human beings? Are we pushing ourselves too far? When we do things that everything we do in general, there's always going to be a percentage of risk. Me making my entrance to the ring, there's actually a percentage of risk that I'm going to trip and fall and hurt myself. Me getting up on the apron, there's a percentage of risk. But it's how do we keep that percentage as low as possible at all times. But as sort of elite performers at the top of our game, naturally we're pushing our bodies harder than, you know, the average person. And Shibata had been battling injury and toughing out tours probably for a long time. And even though, you know, the kicks, the slaps, the headbutts, these are all things he'd done before, fatigue and just the injuries that had been piling on for months and months and years, I think when we go back to talking about the percentage of injuries, trying to keep them as low as possible, when you're just generally tired and you're already battling, you know, a myriad of injuries, that percentage is naturally going to creep up. Shibata has done that headbutt many times to no injury whatsoever, and it's unfortunate that now, you know, with the final one against Okada, it may have been a career ender. It's not something I would ever do. I do feel that Shibata probably felt comfortable in doing it, and he probably felt that it's a big match, so I need to express myself in this manner. I get that. But we sometimes as performers don't even know our limits, you know? And, you know, this is sort of, now that professional wrestling is what it is, it's no secret that we are sports entertainers. We do need to be more careful about what we do in the ring. And as much as the performers themselves want to go out and entertain a crowd and put their bodies on the line, put their livelihood on the line, you know, I do think we need to sort of govern ourselves and keep things as safe as possible, because we never, ever want to see things like that happen.
And I actually think you did a great example of that with the match you just had with Ishii, with Tomohiro Ishii. I thought you guys worked a pretty hard, strong, stiff, exciting match, but yet I didn't see anything, you know, blatantly out of control.
Definitely. And that was kind of the statement I was trying to make, actually, is that there is actually a very safe way to do strong style. And it doesn't necessarily have to be how I see people mimicking it. I see a lot of folks on the indies that don't quite know the secret to what strong style really is, and they're killing each other with elbows. They're killing each other with headbutts. They're killing each other with kicks as hard as they can. And that actually isn't the true art form of what strong style is. What true strong style really is the battle of the heart of man. And it's not about how strong and how forceful you're throwing in your blows. It's showing the never say die attitude of the human spirit.
Right.
And so as long as it looks like you're fighting and giving your all, people will believe. And that's the story I try to tell in that match without ever once being at risk of injury. I mean, jumping over a guardrail, I did that again. There's always a chance where...
That was quite the dive.
Yeah, there's always a chance where I could have slipped and nutted myself on the rail, you know what I mean, and exploded my own scrotum. But, I'm very comfortable in doing it. So I felt that at the time, the percentage of injury is very low. But, I mean, aside from that, I really wanted to show, especially now that people are watching a little more intently what New Japan is doing. I wanted to give them the message that we actually are the kings of doing this. We know what we're doing, and we can do it safely, and watch us, at the highest level. And the Shibata situation was just it's just a very unfortunate accident. Yeah.
Speaking of the world stage for New Japan, 2 shows booked for LA coming up before the G1 this year. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's pretty amazing. They're making some more inroads into North America.
Yeah, I've been really wanting to get into other countries for a while with the New Japan product. So for us to explode into the scene, into the U.S. market, has been really exciting for me. I'm just ready, willing, and able to assume as much responsibility as possible. I want to man the ship. I really want to be the guy that they can lean on to carry the brand in these foreign markets. So so far, feedback has been great. I have no doubt in my mind that the shows will be very fun to watch for first-time viewers and for people that have been watching us on New Japan World. All that's left now is just for us to put our best foot forward and just do it.
Right.
Yeah.
So will you be involved with both of the shows? Do you know at this point yet, or?
I do believe I'm on both shows. So, of course, I don't think there's even been any card discussed. But I think right now they're just trying to sort out what talent will be appearing and what talent will not. What talent's available to us, et cetera, et cetera. But I think, it was probably settled as of even last year that I was going to be on both.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And one more thing before we wrap here. It's been so great chatting with you. You got your rematch with Okada at the Dominion show. As I said, a lot of people have already picked that one from January as their match of the year. It's going to be a tough one to go out and top that, I think.
Right. The first match was certainly the spectacle of all spectacles. I mean, from even the pre-match promos to the way the match closed in the end, the venue itself, it had a very epic feeling to it. Much like I do with all of my matches, I am not one to rinse, wash, and repeat things. I think that rather than trying to force fans into drawing a direct comparison into which match was better, I would rather give them 2 completely different stories so they can appreciate them on their own. So whether they like the first one better or not, or the second one better, I want the stories to be so different from each other that you could watch them apart from each other and have something that you like. Yeah, that's my goal.
I think that's an awesome approach. And one more quick question, just because everybody asks it. Any goals past New Japan? I mean, there's always the talk of WWE. We got Nakamura now in the WWE. Is that something on Kenny Omega's bucket list, or are you content where you are?
Right now, I'm 100% content where I am because I would love to be the driving force behind New Japan in a global market. However, I generally, I'm always just guided by how I feel, where my heart's at, and where I'm needed, if that makes sense. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There are things that I haven't been able to do that I would love to do at some point in time. And one of those things is I really feel like I need to have a high stakes main event with AJ. I really feel I have to. I'm not sure where it will be. I'm just saying that that's always in the back of my mind. And there are other things that I want to accomplish in my career, but I mean that'd just be a real cool thing. Yeah. So I'm never closed-minded as to like, okay, I'm in New Japan, so I have to focus all my goals onto the here and now. I'm always looking beyond that, and whether that falls within the realm of where I'm currently at, or I end up somewhere else in the future, I'm always just open to the best case scenario for what I can show fans, what Kenny Omega is all about, as a person, as a wrestler, as a performer. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for talking with us, Kenny. I really appreciate it. And thanks for keeping up the great tradition of Canadian wrestlers.
Thank you. I'm just trying my best, and hopefully more to come in the future.